The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
You're listening to CF. You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Thursday, 11th day of December. Thanks so much for joining us. Wherever you are, just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. The first broadcast is our live training room. That one's reserved for members only and those taking our 1-week free trial. Not yet taking your 1-week free trial, when Michael joins us in about an hour, he'll walk you through step by step how to take the trial. It'll take 3 minutes of your time. Get signed up. We'll get your indicators up and indicating today. Trial will officially start tomorrow morning, and it'll run all the way through next week. Weekend does not count against you. Don't wait till Monday. Today, because we actually go to work Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. That's when the Globex markets open. Start sending out the alerts and all that good stuff. Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break. Back for this broadcast, the noon broadcast. Which, unlike the morning broadcast, it's open to the public. That's everybody everywhere on planet Earth, connected device. There's 2 different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. Best way, you only have to do it once. From mytradingiq.com, scroll down the page to where it says New Broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form. You're done. Going forward, what will happen, every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In the email, there will be a link. 12 noon Eastern. All you have to do is simply click the link in the email, and it logs you right into our platform. The benefit there is you have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there'll be days you're out of the office, away from your desktop, but you still want to join live. Some days you'll be busy. You can't join live, but you want to get caught up later. You can do both of those via our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember. youtube.com/CFN. That's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. Years ago. Wow. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, simulcasting, we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,900 daily episodes archived for your educational pleasure. If you're new to our neck of the woods, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Thanks to the power of YouTube, scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. You can literally see how we've evolved over the years, day by day. Obviously, you're not going to watch them all. You need to. But it's a great resource to have at your fingertips, especially if you decide to become a member. Then I think you'll want to, as time permits, go through some of the past years and literally see how we evolved day by day by day. YouTube.com/CFR. On the left side of the screen is our schedule for each afternoon broadcast. So we're going to start where we do every day. Devotional. Topic we're on right now. This is day 6 of 7, so we'll be wrapping this up tomorrow. Anxious for nothing. Scripture today is Philippians 4, verses 4-9. I'm going to share it with you from the Message translation. Celebrate God all day, every day. I mean, revel in Him. Make it as clear as you can, all you meet, that you're on their side, working with them and not against them. Help them see that the Master is about to arrive. He could show up any minute. Don't fret or worry. Instead of worrying, pray. Let petitions and praises shape your worries into prayers, letting God know your concerns. You know what? Sense of God's wholeness, everything coming together for good, come and settle you down. It's wonderful what happens when Christ displaces worry at the center of your life. Summing it all up, friends, I'd say you'll do best by filling your minds meditating on things true, noble, reputable, authentic, compelling, gracious, best, not the worst, beautiful, not the ugly, things to praise, not things to curse. Put into practice. Learn from me. Heard and saw and realized. Do that in God, who makes everything work together, work you into His most excellent harmonies. Again, that was Philippians 4:4-9 from the Message translation. What if you praise God even in the middle of... We got a story today from a gentleman named Brian. Brian experienced anxiety that led to some physical symptoms as well. But through his experience, he discovered that he still had much to thank God for. Here's Brian's story. He writes, I first dealt with acute anxiety and panic some years ago while living in a foreign country during a challenging stage of life. Trying to learn a new language, start a business, be the light of Christ where there was virtually no church present. Parent twin 1-year-olds. It was as if I gradually descended to a dark valley. Over the course of several months, I suffered from chest pains, headaches, and other sickness. It served as a catalyst, fear and concern unlike anything I'd ever experienced. Up until this point in my life, I really hadn't battled worry too much, and honest, I even prided myself on being a courageous risk taker. But I soon began to dwell on the worst case scenarios. convinced something serious was wrong with me or that something terrible would happen to my family. People ask whether my anxiety was circumstantial, psychological, or spiritual. Having considered this quite a bit, I am fairly convinced that the answer is yes. I believe that often there can be multiple things at play. Stress has a way of boiling to a point where even those with the highest tolerance are susceptible to building. Also, like other physical limitations or sickness, some of us experience times when our body's chemicals are out of balance. In addition, our spiritual enemy seems to be an opportunist when it comes to his attacks, striking us in our areas of weakness. In Paul's famous challenge to be anxious for nothing in Philippians 4, he calls on us not only to pray, but also to give thanks. The context of Paul's instruction is not on the heels of victory or after receiving a miraculous breakthrough. In fact, Paul himself was facing a pretty terrible situation. Writing to the Philippian church from prison, facing a very uncertain future. And yet his letter reflects his deep joy and attitude of rejoicing. So yes, in the middle of our pain, we can also. I don't believe Paul is asking us to drum up insincere gratitude. I think Paul is challenging us, thanks where thanks is due, even in the midst of whatever current struggle. I have found that I am never without things to celebrate. Even during some of the most difficult trials I have faced, there have also been things I'm thankful for. Meditating on those and voicing gratitude to Him helps transform my perspective, calibrate my mind. Overload of negative or stressful thoughts can create a general sense of impending. Even when stating my gratefulness to God as a forced act of discipline, I often experience the weight beginning. That's not to say there's some gimmicky formula to an anxiety-free life. The principle of praising God, even through the pain, is a pathway to His life-giving presence, which offers us peace. Thank you, Brian, for sharing that story with us. Let's pray. Lord, help us rejoice in You always, no matter our circumstances. Teach us to bring every worry to You in prayer, trusting that Your peace will guard our hearts and minds, fill our thoughts with what is true, lovely, give praise. Strengthen us to put Your word into practice so that Your peace will rest on us each day. It's in Jesus' name, believe and pray. Everybody said, Amen. Amen, and happy Thursday. Thursday means there's only workshop tonight. Please have your questions ready. And on the trial, now's the day. Become a member so that you can begin the members only workshop tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. Start in the U.S. with the cash markets. Indices, as they're called. Currently, the Dow's up 601 points. Unbelievable. The Nasdaq's down 184. S&P 500 is down 9. The Russell 2000 is up 21. Talk about mixed markets. Incredible. In the commodity basket, crude oil is down $1.21, trading below our lowest weekly trading zone. Last trade 57.26. That's a drop of percent. Gold, on the other hand, is up $80.70, trading 4,305.40 last. That's a gain of almost 2%. Silver up $3.35, trading 64.38 last. That's a gain of 5.5%. As I've told you many times, when the price of silver moves $1, that's worth $5,000 per contract traded. Silver, again, is up $3.30. Asian markets at the close. The Nikkei fell 453 points. Shanghai dropped. And for the Nikkei, that's about 1%. Shanghai dropped 27. Hang Seng fell 10. In the European markets at the close, FTSE up 47. DAX up 164. CAC up 63. So we had a red day in Asia. It was a green day for the U.S. And it's a mixed Radio Thursday, the U.S. of A. Turning to global news, ICE goes airborne. Department of Homeland Security signed a $140 million contract to purchase 6 Boeing 737 planes that the agency will use for deportations. DHS pinned the deal with Atlas Aviation, Virginia-based company whose leadership also signed a separate nearly $1 billion contract with the agency to support self-deportations. DHS facilitated over 1,700 deportation flights to 77 countries since January. DHS often relies on charter flights to do so, though it is considered purchasing planes from Spirit Airlines. That deal reportedly fell through amid concerns that the jets were not functional. DHS aims to facilitate 1 million deportations by the end of President Donald Trump's first year in office. The agency said it has deported more than 579,000 people. The contract was made possible by an influx of funding from the One Big Beautiful Bill passed this year. DHS says the fleet will save $279 million annually in taxpayer dollars by improving the efficiency of flight patterns. Federal Reserve yesterday announced a 0.25 percentage point cut. Benchmark rates. Decision, though, was unusually split. The FOMC committee voting 9-3 towards third rate cut this year. 2 members voted against the reduction, citing stubborn inflation. A third sought a larger half-point cut amid concerns of a slowing jobs market. The board signaled rates would likely remain unchanged for the coming months. The announcement comes as President Donald Trump began holding interviews for the next Federal Reserve chair, slated to replace Jerome Powell when his post ends in May. National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett is believed to be the front runner among 5 candidates up for consideration. An ancient lake has reemerged in California's Death Valley National Park following record rainfall this year. Between 128,000 and 186,000 years ago, meltwater ice covering the Sierra Nevada fed rivers that emptied into Badwater Basin, North America's lowest point at 282 feet below sea level. Steady flow sustained Lake Manly, nearly 100 miles long and roughly 600 feet deep. The lake disappeared as Death Valley evolved into the driest place in North America, some areas receiving under 2 inches of rain annually. This year, however, the park received 1.5 inches between September and November, marking its wettest autumn on record and triggering the temporary return of a shorter, shallower Lake Manly. Above average rainfall periodically brings Lake Manly back, including in 2023 when Hurricane Hilary dumped 2.2 inches of rain on a single August day, allowing visitors to kayak. The steadier pace of this year's rainfall could lead to a wildflower superbloom, last seen in 2016. Turning to Wall Street, Oracle down 13%. Oracle stock fell after the tech firm's quarterly AI cost rose ahead of Wall Street's expectations. Revenue fell short. Oracle reported capital expenditures of $12 billion its fiscal second quarter after the bell yesterday, up from about $4 billion the previous year and the roughly $8 billion projected by analysts tracked by Bloomberg. The AI cloud player also hiked its guidance for full-year capital expenditures to $50 billion from its prior $5 billion estimate. That's some big numbers. U.S. jobless claims rose last week by the most since the onset of the pandemic, underscoring the volatile nature of claims at this time of year. Initial claims increased by 44,000 to 236,000 in the week ended December 6th, according to Labor Department data released today. That was the biggest jump since March of 2020, followed the lowest level of applications in more than years in the previous week, which included Thanksgiving. The figure exceeded all but one estimate in a survey of a U.S. trade deficit unexpectedly narrowed in September. Now why is that unexpected? Make it in America, buy it in America. Made for Americans, by Americans and Americans. Tariffs. I mean, who wrote this? Oh, Reuters. Okay, that explains everything. The U.S. trade deficit unexpectedly narrowed in September, touching the lowest level in more than 5 years as exports accelerated and imports rose marginally, suggesting that trade likely provided a boost to economic growth in the Trump knows what he's doing after all. JP Morgan said today that it issued a U.S. commercial paper for Galaxy Digital Holdings on the Solana blockchain, marking an important step in broader institutional adoption of digital assets. Cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase Global and investment management firm Franklin Templeton purchased the commercial paper, short-term and unsecured debt instrument. The deal is among the earliest that uses blockchain for the issue and service of securities, which JP Morgan called a global milestone as traditional finance begins to intersect with the technology. And I shared an article this morning in the live training room. Bank of America is getting behind crypto 100%. They're even rolling out some new vehicles that have to do with credit based on blockchain. And of course, sorry, I don't have that article in front of me anymore, or I would share it with you. Just Google Bank of America and crypto. City Club of Cleveland, leaving Wall Street, going to Capitol Hill. City Club of Cleveland is defying LGBTQ activist pressure to cancel or substantially alter an event featuring a conservative Christian leader next month. And Ohio's Attorney General is standing with the venue. We're not canceling, and we never had any intention of canceling this, to City Club's CEO. We're going to continue to do what we always do and have done for 113 years, which is convene conversations of consequence that help democracy thrive, and do that with the leadership of relevant organizations who are shaping our communities. Moulthrop confirmed that he had no intention of changing the January 16th forum in which he will interview Aaron Baer, president of the Center for Christian Virtue. The center says it seeks the good of our neighbors by advocating for public policy that reflects the truth of the gospel. It advocates just freedom, free speech, educational freedom, and pro-life and family policy. Now that sounds like a great thing, right? Hell, not so fast. More than 100 LGBTQ leaders and organizations across Ohio signed an open letter denouncing the City Club for hosting Bear and urging the venue to cancel or modify this forum in a way that does not platform an organization that has just been designated by the Southern Poverty Law Center as an you're going to love this, LGBTQIA2S plus hate group. And no, I'm not going to say that again. The letter makes 4 demands. Cancel the event or include an LGBTQ activist. Place Moulthrop with a likely pro-LGBTQ external moderator. Disavow platforming hate speech. Or structure the event so that diverse and impacted perspectives are not only present but also meaningfully centered. And Ohio says, no. Free speech is a cornerstone of our democracy. So if we get one, get a load. A federal judge today ordered that immigration officials immediately release Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the wrongfully deported man who is now back in the United States and faces criminal charges. Abrego Garcia remains protected from being removed to El Salvador again. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement had proposed deporting him to one of several African countries where he has no ties. Because Abrego Garcia has been held in ICE detention, effectuate third country removal, absent a lawful removal order, his requested relief is proper according to some leftist judge, and she wrote this in a 31-page opinion. This guy was a wife beater, a human trafficker, a drug dealer, and a member of a terrorist organization. Why not release him onto our streets so he can stab somebody on the train or, I don't know, set him on fire? I'm sick of this crap. R2. Sorry for the 4 letters. Florida's Attorney General has filed a lawsuit against Starbucks, claiming the company's hiring initiatives constitute racial discrimination. Starbucks made DEI more than a slogan, the Attorney General said when he announced the lawsuit yesterday. They turned it into a mandatory hiring and promotion system based on race. The lawsuit states that in 2024, multiple Florida residents who worked for or tried to apply for jobs at Starbucks contacted the Attorney General's office to report feeling excluded due to the company's employment practices. One person who claimed to have worked at a Florida Starbucks for 17 years told the Attorney General the company was paying higher wages to people of certain races than others who had the same experience and skills, according to the lawsuit. Now, this reverse discrimination thing, well, it should be over. Now, it'll probably come back once Trump leaves office. Depends on who we get. We got to get through these midterms. It's going to be a challenge. Logic 247, our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. Not just E-minis, but also crude silver. Currently in week 384, over the last 384 weeks, we've issued over 21,100 individual handcrafted alerts. Averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on simple market structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. This week, 184, since the markets opened this past Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we issued a total of 5 logic alerts. Well, I issued 2 more this morning after Valerie did the recap. So far, one's never triggered, and at the time Valerie did the recap, we were waiting on the outcome of 12. So I'm sure some of those have resolved themselves one way or the other. So at the time she did the recap, we had 33 actionable alerts, of which 12% would have been stopped out based on simple market structure and the simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Purpose of the logic alerts is to teach you how to read a chart. In a trade for a living, you got to be able to read a chart. You need to know where to expect resistance, where to expect support, and then trade accordingly. Now, yeah, you can trade them, but if you never trade a logic alert, please, while they're still available, use them. Learn how to read the chart. When that day comes, there are no more logic alerts. It's up to God. You won't miss a step because you will have done the right thing and learned how to read yourself. There's nothing I can say today more important than you gotta learn how to read the chart. Okay? Now, 384 weeks is a long time. It's over 7 years. But quite a few years before we initiated Logic 247, we had our original alert service, the concierge traders. They're different in a lot of different ways. Logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session and vice versa. Concierge trade alerts are our original alert service. Those don't come out around the clock. Published as a static report 5 minutes ahead of the Globex Open each evening. Last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, that was the beginning of the Thursday session. Thursday session will end today at 5 p.m. Eastern. Tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern will be the beginning of the Friday session. So, that means is all of our traders and even trial members all of these targets 5 minutes before the market even opened last night. The S&P 500, the Dow, Russell, crude oil, NQ, and silver. Let's just go see how that worked out. Start with daily chart of the S&P 500. Here's the bellwether, it's called. Now, I've already explained these vertical lines. I'll probably take them down. Just shows you every time the black step line crossed blue climbing, see price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. Call it the BVC. Stands for bull bear cross. Price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and expect higher prices. Price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and expect lower prices. Pull back to the BVC holds more often than it doesn't. In fact, every pullback on the daily chart going back to April 24th has held until 7th. We had a candle open and close. Turned out to be a head fake. This was a Friday. This was a gap higher open on Sunday night. Now, I want you to look at this. Leg retracement, leg retracement, leg retracement, 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 leg retracement, leg retracement, double bottom, leg. Or did things change right here? Leg retracement, leg retracement, and now potentially another leg to the downside. This right here is the all-time historic high. This is the all-time historic intraday and the all-time historic closing highs. Okay. Now, on this broadcast, we talked all last week about how the step line was getting ready to cross blue and climbing, and that would result in a retracement to the BC. Earlier today, we had a big red candle right down to the BC. And look at that bounce. Now, yesterday, we said that even with the Fed announcement, because blue and climbing was directly above price, felt that that would be resistance. And sure enough, it was. So we identified resistance ahead of time based on the same rules we use every day. And then we also identified where the market would most likely find support. That's what learning how to read a chart will do in your trade. The market is likely to run into resistance, where it's most likely to find support. How can that not be valuable? Business of trading. All the alerts, both Logic 247 and the Concierge Trade alerts, are created 30-minute chart. I picked 30 minutes years ago. Say if it's not broke, don't fix it. So that's the deal. I haven't fixed it. Now, yesterday, off the Fed announcement, hit this weekly zone at 6,900/6901. Okay. Then going into the close, we sold off a little bit. And then last night, the market opened and we sold off quite a bit. All the way down to the bullish cross. The line gets above the green line and leads to an extended move. First time price revisits that area will typically be good support. It was for a minute, and then we continued on down to the weekly zone. This vertical line here, okay, this separates today, Thursday, Wednesday, here's Tuesday, Horizontal lines are our weekly trading zones, which we have published for our members every week for the last almost 16 years. 14th, it'll make in 3 days, 16 years. First published the weekly. When price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance till proven otherwise. Price drops to a weekly zone, we expect support. Otherwise, zone, 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 the zone. Then the Fed came out. Go. And right there is where we hit on the daily chart. This was the opening candle last night. So we had a definite gap lower, accompanied by red and falling. And we know the pullback holds more often than not, but we also know eventually it will trade through. See, like it did here. It just kept falling and falling, and it hit the short target. Everything that was gained off the Fed announcement yesterday wiped out, and then some. By 10 o'clock last night, Eastern. Now this is the 2 o'clock candle right here. This one. 1500 hours. If you don't know how to do military time, just subtract 12. See, it says 1400, subtract 12. What do you get? 2. This is the 2. This is when the Fed announcement came out. All the way up. Pull back. This candle open. Drop to the BC. Back held. And off we go like a rocket ship. Now this is when, 2:30, this is when Jerome started taking questions from the audience. Okay? So then we opened last night, and all of that gets wiped out, and then some. Back down to the zone that was published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Zones are published each week, Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. So what you're seeing here on a Thursday is the zone that was published Monday morning. Still doing its job as support. Only one of 3 things happens when price encounters a weekly trading zone. 70% of the time, it's this, consolidation. 20% of the time, rejection. 10% of the time, the slice. That's when a 30-minute candle slices through a zone like it's not even there. That happens, and the move runs out of steam. Price will typically retrace back to the zone it sliced through, and then continue in the direction of the slice. Right here would have been a good spot for potential resistance. Oh. So now where do we head? I mean, this is like free money. No such thing as free, but salvation. 68.98 up to 6,900. Will we see this? I don't know. Let's go back here and look at this again. So climbing is roughly at 69.05 and change. So we would have to we'd have to spike blue and climbing. Touch that. We did spike it a little bit yesterday. Little wick sticking up right there. We hit the short target, and we got a rally going. Off these lows, we got a leg, a retracement. Now, this pullback held, because both candles are touching the green line. Pullback held, get another leg, another retracement, and the pullback held. That took us to where we are right now. Still one more zone overhead if the market wants to keep climbing. The Dow. Here's what happened yesterday. Ran up to this zone, found resistance. And when the market opened last night, it took a dive, but not as steeply as the ES. Right here, the step line crossed red and falling. Now up here, this is your cue right here. When the black step line crosses blue and climbing, expect price to retrace to the VVC. In this case, it actually traded through it. Then the black step line crossed red and falling. Does that mean price is going to trace to the VVC? And we actually got one 30-minute candle back down. We had blue and climbing chasing price. Took us through. Consolidated at the zone. Had a leg, a little retracement. Came this zone. Target. About that zone. That's the highest weekly zone for the week. Now, look at the black step line. See how it's starting to lean to the right? On the way up. Really a great example, okay? You see how these two are parallel? Black step line on the left, climbing on the right. Now the step line is directly above blue and climbing. Does that tell us, right, that the step line is attempting to cross to the right side of blue and climbing? Now, look at what happened yesterday when that happened. Right here. Boom. Potentially going to see a similar thing here. Because remember, price always reverts to the mean. And where's the mean? Way down here. So am I saying we could sell off into the close today? Well, it's not a forecast. It's certainly a possibility. Got to embrace all possibilities. Russell. Yesterday, we ran up to the zone, pulled back, boom. Opened last night and sold off. Consolidated at the zone. Leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, another leg and a retracement. Then we get resistance at the zone. Now that's the highest weekly zone this week. Russell. However, by close of business tomorrow, we expect price to be at or below the highest weekly zone. The last 16 years, that's pretty much how it's played out. Have there been occasions where we closed above the highest weekly zone in a market or below the lowest weekly zone in a market? Yeah. Multiply 16 times 52. That's 832 weeks. I'm going to say maybe we had it happen in one or two of the markets out of 832 weeks. Now, that doesn't mean every market that week. I'm just saying one or two of the markets that week. So it's a very low percentage. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But again, notice the step line. It's already starting to hook to the right. It's going to bring price back to the BC. Then it becomes a question of, does the pullback hold? Does it trade through? In Q. In Q, oh, we drew this window of opportunity yesterday and it filled last night. Here's the 2 o'clock FOMC announcement. Here's where the press conference started. And the high of the session came in right at the weekly trading zone. That's not the highest one, though. There's still one more. The open last night, gap lower on the open. Plunged. Short target. Plunged, filling that window of opportunity. And plunged. Trading zone. Spiked it, but closed above it. Now, there's still one more zone. below. Nope, there's one more below. And actually two more above. Next one's right here. Support. When the market finds support, it's going to go look for resistance. Trade it through the BBC. Now, as I said, the pullback holds more often than not. You got this much blue and climbing chasing price. See, red and falling's bearish, blue and climbing's bullish. That's when you have a better chance that price is going to actually trade through. See. Then we hit the zone, consolidate, and we run right up to the underside of the short target. Okay. Now right here we had a bearish cross, and as you can see we found resistance in that area, but we managed to poke a little higher. Then this morning on the Wall Street Open, dropped below the zone, and the NQ is trying to turn itself around. These wicks sticking to the upside, that's kind of bearish. May see lower prices on the NQ. Oil at the lowest weekly 57.35/57. But again, by close of business tomorrow, we expect price to be at or above the lowest zone. It's not, but that's what 16 years of history has taught us to expect. Resistance at the zone, resistance at the zone, support at the zone. Okay, 2 o'clock yesterday. Okay. Ran up, we ran back down. Then Jerome took the stage and we ran down, and then we ran up. We had a little retracement. It was the open last night, and we climbing, turned to red and falling. Down we go. And again, see what all this red and falling chasing price? It's down to the zone, and we just barely missed short target. 230. Slow 42.31.2. Slow 9. Okay, so we missed it by 2. But then buyers came in. It's up to the long target a couple times. Then we traded through it. Found resistance 3310/11. The highest weekly zone's way up there, so probably won't see that this week. But again, got to embrace all possibilities. But step line, what's it doing? See, on the way up, they're running parallel. Now this is directly above. That's the first step crossing over side. Right here, the step line crossed. Stop. This happens over and of course, you need somebody to tell you to look for that, and so silver. This was the FOMC and FOMC announcement came out. Silver ran up, then it ran back down. Rome took the stage. Go. And whereas all the indices fell at the open, silver actually rallied and hit back to the BBC. Consolidated hours. Target again. And that's the highest weekly zone for silver. 6505/6506. With silver, you only need 2 pennies to go for. Now we'll take just this one candle right here. This candle opened at 62.69. So let's call it 62.70. And up 30 cents. Target. That's $1,500. You're saying, well, why would I buy that? Well, of the BBC, you got blue and climbing. Now, did see after we tagged that, see how the step line crossed? Ran with it, and then definitely on the right side here. So, back to the BBC. Back hill. Every candle's touching the BBC. And it held. And the high of the session so far, 64.50. 64. Really quite impressive what's happened with silver. All right, Michael should be here any second. Chart. Now, some of you will remember about a month ago, I brought up iHeartRadio. Working on a deal with Netflix to iHeart has a lot of podcasts. They got a lot of radio stations, and there's a lot of podcasts. Video podcasts. Used to be podcasts were just audio. Now, they used to be called vlogs. Now they're just called podcasts. In fact, a lot of people anticipate that video along with that's a relatively new. Anyhow, the early days of CFRN, I was approached by iHeart to buy out, and we just never even came close. And then the guy that I was negotiating with, he'd gone to another job and died on the vine. We're headed, it looks like, back to this same resistance point. Now, if we break that, we can get above this little hump right here. We get to 69.25, and very well could see a new all-time historic intraday and close. I'll show you this iHeart. Let's see. I had no place to grab it. Too many things. Now, when I first mentioned iHeart to you guys, it was trading around $3.25. And I've been telling you, as the weeks have gone by, that once it breaks $5, brokers can recommend it to their clients. Most brokerage firms have a rule that any stock under $5 is considered to be a penny stock. So we've seen it go from 3.25 to 5.25. It's up 11% today. It's now officially over $5, and so you're going to start seeing a lot of analysts about calls on it. I don't know if that Netflix deal ever came together or not. If it does, I could see this thing flying to 50. It's its all-time high. see, all time $6. Year, date, same thing. Year to date, it's up 159%. Trading with relatively light volume, as many stocks do. But I think that's going to change. 1.6 million shares traded. I mean, that's not nothing. So I'm not a licensed investment professional, so I can't tell you to go out and buy iHeartRadio. But certainly speak to a licensed investment professional and see what they say. Probably going to tell you, well, if you want to allocate some percentage of your portfolio to it, I can't find any negative news. In fact, the most iHeartMedia analyst optimistic. That was written 25 days ago. Oh, this is 25 days ago. Okay. So let's see. They were saying 25 days ago. iHeartMedia is possibly approaching a major achievement in its business, so we would like to shine some light on the company. iHeartMedia operates as an audio media company in the U.S. Latest financial year loss of U.S. and a trailing 12-month loss of U.S. $399 million. Market cap of 500. It had a market cap of 577. It's up now. Most pressing concern for investors is iHeartMedia's path to profitability. When will it even? This article will touch on the expectations for the company's growth and analysts expected to. iHeart is bordering on break even, according to American media analysts. Anticipate the company to incur a final loss in 2025 before generating positive profits of $72 million next year. The company is therefore projected to break even just over a year from now. Rate will the company have to grow year on year in order to state? Using a line of best fit, we calculated an average annual growth rate of 115%. Signals high confidence from analysts. Should the business grow at a slower rate, it will become profitable at a later date.
All right.
Hey,
Sorry.
hey, no problem. We were talking about iHeart.
No, good.
And I had the all-time chart up.
10% today. That's going to be another one, Twain. I think you're going to be right about that.
The all-time historic high, looks like, was $6 or so. 693. So that's got a lot of room to climb. I mean, just the sheer fact that it's positive news if off this deal with Netflix. I mean, that's from here. It's a 5-banger, but I think it has the potential to go to $50, and then maybe even more after that. I don't know, but anyway, let me get this down out of the way.
Okay, I'll bring it over here. And we'll bring it to my side.
Shrink. Oh, and look at where we're at on the daily. Can you still see my chart?
No, I just brought it over, but I can
Okay.
look at it on mine.
No, that's all right. I just
Yeah, on the daily. Yep, above the open right now. And we are getting
green on the day.
Yep, we're green on the day. We're above the open.
We got that resistance that stopped us yesterday. Blue and climbing's directly above price. So.
And the swing high.
And look,
we had
It
bounced
was
off of that level twice, three
came
times.
we came down to in the discussion group last night. I said, look, guys, we've got the daily BBC aligned with the 62% extension. Markets opened last night. We sold off and went right down to the BBC.
And that was the hit we were looking for that I drew in the partners meeting last week. I think I was looking for it to get down to the BBC. We finally did right here a couple of days after I had drawn it randomly. And here we go. We should be up by the end of the month. We should be up here. New all-time highs is what I'm thinking. And that's what I said in the meeting last week. I said, if it gets down to the BBC, now is the time to buy call options that expire in January.
The Wall Street analysts are saying this bull market's far from over. But boy, the NQ really got hit hard. The Dow is on steroids to the upside. The NQ and crude are just getting battered. So, all right. Your screens look good, so there you go.
Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday, the 11th day of December, 2025. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Click on that. It's going to bring you to the registration page. This will be a different page tomorrow, but it's going to bring you to this registration page today. All we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Down at the bottom, gives you TradingView login ID. Now, it'll be the same page tomorrow, same information, but it'll be a different link and stuff like that. Different link and password. Gives you TradingView login ID. Okay, once you give us that, we can get the indicators indicating on your desktop. Once you hit that register button. All right, do all that stuff. Today in the room, we had a pretty good day in the room today. That's not today, is it? It is today. No, it's not. Today's the 11th. Okay, this is today. I was going to say, we had a pretty good day in the room today. I didn't remember it being over 1,500, though. That was yesterday, in this session yesterday. This was in the room today. This is with one contract. That is with 10 contracts. All right, so today, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom and bring out the question box. See if anybody has any questions. See who's in here. See if we have any new people in here today. Not today. Okay, so here's what we have. The 11th day of December, 2025. Birthday, Phil. We're up 137 on the NQ, 33 on the YM, 30 on the gold, and 9 on the ES. That puts us at $1,262 with one contract. Today it took 8 minutes and 3 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $1,300, and we took a total of 43 trades this morning with 6 stop outs, putting us at 86% break even or better this morning. So, you know, mid to high 80s is pretty much what we're doing all the time here in the morning. A couple over 90, one under 80 since I started doing it. Another one under 80, 90. Yeah. Now the 90 days, how much money did we make on those? That was a good day when we had over 90% on that day. That was a good day when we had over 90% on that day. 76%. That wasn't a very good day at all, comparatively. The other one that was below 80, that wasn't a very good day either. The one that was right at 80 was meh. 78 on that one. That was a pretty good day, even though we got 78%. Must have had a lot of trades or something. No, we didn't actually. And that is it. That's as far back as I went keeping track of that stuff. Anyway, let's get in there and see what we did. All right, on the month now we're at 11,160, averaging 1,240. On the year we're at 264,617, averaging 1,242. 24/20 blueprint. The hourly is now up to $7,396. We've worked 29.5 hours so far this year, getting the goal for the day. Now, let's get in there and go over what we didn't do, and then we'll try to get a few trades in today, since we didn't get any in yesterday. All the way back here. There we go. All right, so this was gold. Our first trade on gold was right here, and we picked up one tick on that one. Then our next trade on gold was a little while later. Right here, I screwed that one up. I was showing how to take the bounce off the midpoint, but I took it completely wrong. My entry was like way up here, and I screwed that one up, and I got minus 14, minus 15. I was at minus 14 overall. I got minus 15 on that. Then we picked up 6 ticks there to get us to minus 8, 5 ticks to get us to minus 3. Then right there we had a pretty big trade that got us to plus 17. So we had a 20 tick trade there, followed by a 1 tick trade, put us at plus 18. Then a 5 tick got us to 25. A 1 tick got us to, I'm sorry, a 5 tick got us to 23. A 1 tick got us to 24. Then we went back and forth from here. We went up to 30, then we stopped out again. Now, I shouldn't have taken this because we weren't flat on the bar before. And we stopped out on that, brought us back down to 15. And we got 20 ticks there, 25 ticks there. 20 ticks got us up to 35, 1 to 36, 1 more to 37, and we stopped out again, brought us down to 22. And then we went to 29, and we had 1 more trade right there. We went to 30. And that was it for gold. So we're back and forth quite a bit on the gold today. We had a decent trade right here during the break, right there during the break, right there during the break. This would have been a stop out right there. So we had 3 good trades and 1 stop out so far. This would have been a stop out too. Let's see, that would have been a decent trade. That would have been a stop out. So far it's a complete mixed bag with the trades during the break here on the gold. This would have been a break even. That would have been, it would have gone into profit enough to take a little bit of profit. That would have been a trade. That's nothing. And then this right here was nothing. Sorry, I almost said that was a trade, but it wasn't. That would have been a trade. That would have gapped up right there. You would have gotten some good profit out of that. And that was it. We don't have a trade right here because it's just below the midpoint. I guess you could almost take that trade. If I could find my dom, I'd probably take that trade. I still haven't found my dom. It's still not gone to the point we would move the stop to break even. It still hasn't gone to the point we would move the stop to break even. So you can still take that trade if you want to. I just did. Here it is. All right. And that was gold. Okay, that was gold so far this morning. So gold was back and forth in the break. We ended up with plus 30 on the morning session, and during the break we were back and forth. Right now we're in this trade, but it hasn't gone to break even yet, and now it's gone to break even plus a tick. We'll lock in 5 on that, 10 on that. That's the goal for the day right there. Bing. All right. Drop that in over here on gold today. 10 ticks today. Why does that say 12.11? Oh, that's because I'm on the wrong part. Down here today. 10 ticks on gold. This is 12.11. We didn't do any trades yesterday. So this is 1 and 0. And copy this and paste it there. Okay, that's where we stand so far. Let's get back in here. The YM today. Now we're back and forth on the YM too. I felt like we never got below 0 though. On gold at 30 ticks, we did not end at the high of the day. The high of the day on gold was 37 ticks, so we did not end at the high of the day on gold. On the YM, we ended tied for the high of the day. The high of the day was 33. We got there, we dropped away from it, and we got back to it. That was the YM today. So there's a little back and forth on the YM. Okay. And here we go. On the YM, our first trade, we picked up 10 ticks. Then our next trade, we picked up 11 ticks, 12 ticks, 12 ticks. That put us at 22. That's where we got the gold from that next trade right there. Now we had, at that point, we had 4 ticks on the NQ, and we picked up 12 ticks there. So 22 plus 4 was 36. I mean, 26 or $130 contract. Now the next trade that we took here, we picked up 10 ticks to get us to 32. Then 1 tick somewhere there. to get us to 33, and that was the high of the day right there. Then we stopped out, went back down to 18. I got 1 tick to 19, 4 ticks to 23, 1 tick to 20, 2 ticks, I'm sorry, to 25, 1 tick to 26, and then 7 ticks to 33. So we're back at the high of the day for us there on the YM. Now, during the break on the YM, this would have been a stop out right there, followed by a trade right there. You could have gotten it right back. Nothing in there. That was a decent trade. Well, I mean, it would have been enough to get you stop break even, maybe take a little profit. It wasn't a stop out anyway. That's what I'm trying to say. This one right here would have been a break even. This would have been a good trade right there. That would not have been a trade. That would have been enough to get a break even. The midpoint wasn't really flat there. And that was about it. We get an up close right now on the YM. We'll have a long trade. It's got a low here, 713, so you buy in 723, just like this. Okay. I'll leave that up here and we'll see where it goes. That was it on the YM. Okay. If I think we're going to get triggered in right here. We just did. Okay. So along the YM right now too. Let that play out. And its stop's going to go to break even by itself after 5 ticks, go to break even plus a tick after 5 ticks in profit. It should make it up to 742. So it should make it up to right here. Right. That would be 19 ticks. 19 ticks if it gets up there. Okay, the ES today. Now, on the ES today, we didn't have that many trades on the ES. Our very first one here on the ES, we picked up 1 tick there. Then 4 ticks there to get us to +5. Then 4 ticks there to get us to +9. And we stopped out on the YM. Okay, let's put that in. YM minus 15. 1 and 1. Okay. That was it on the ES. That was all we had. During the break, it looks like there was a long trade right here during the break. And that was it. We could have a trade here coming up if we get a down close. It hits a midpoint on the next bar and gives it. This bar is going to give us a down close, and the next bar could hit the midpoint with an up close. That could be a trade on the ES. But that's where that stands. So on the ES, we just had those few trades, and we ended up with +9 ticks on the ES. That was the high of the day for the ES. Now the NQ is a little more confusing today because we went from a 19 range to a 39 range and back to a 19 range this morning. Okay. We first started out, the markets were jumping all over the place. So we took a little bit of profit in the beginning, and then I switched it to a 39 range. I kind of want to, I'm looking for the ES to give us a trade here, but I don't know if it's going to, just go here and do the NQ. All right, control and back. What was that number on the ES? It's got to go down to, let's see if I can keep my eye on it. It's got to go down to 92.50. Try to keep my eye on it. Put a little thing down here. Okay. We'll see if it gets down there. All right. Back to the NQ. Back to the NQ. We're scrolling backwards on the NQ. I only took 1 trade on the 39 tick. This one, I got 8 ticks on it. So when we see an arrow that doesn't correspond to anything, that's what it was. All right, so here we are on the NQ. We started out here with 4 ticks. There was a trade before that, I think, that I got 4 ticks on that doesn't look like I highlighted. Oh, maybe I did. It's probably much further back. There it is right there. Okay. We got 4 ticks on that one. And then we had 4 more to 8, and the next one was 4 more to get us to 12. And then we went from 12 to 20 on that one, from 12 to 20. And I think the next one's not going to make sense because I think we're on the 39 range on the next one. Look at all those bars. What the heck was the next one? Well, okay. Well, we went from 20 to 28, and then went from 28 to 73. So we had a 45 tick trade, and then went from 73 to 81. Then 81 to 126, so there's another 45 tick trade. And then we went from 126, somewhere in here is where we went to 126. And then we stopped out. We'd gone from 126 down to 101. And we're from 101 to 105, 105 to 113, and 113 to 117, and 117 to 133, and 133 to 137. And that was the high of the day for us at that point. Yes, it's still not gotten down to the midpoint. And that was the high of the day for us on the NQ. Now before I go through all the NQ break trades, okay, let me cancel that notification that I had over there on the DOM. The gold could give us a long trade, I think. Nope, it's going to miss it by 1 tick. Okay, so let's get into the stuff that happened during the break with the NQ. There was nothing here so far during the break. Nothing, not a thing. All right here there was a short during the break. It would have been okay. Another one there, that would have been okay. Would this have been a valid long? It would have been. That would have stopped out. That would have been a valid long. That would have worked out great. That would have worked out well. That would have worked out well. Wow, it really was on a tear. That would have stopped out. Pretty much hit the tick. That would have worked out. That was nothing. That was nothing. That was nothing. All the way over here. Nothing. Going the opposite direction. That would have worked out. That would have worked out. That was nothing. That was nothing. That would have worked out. And that brings us current. All right, so on the NQ, we ended up with plus 137 ticks, and that was the high of the day on the NQ for us. Okay. All right. So yeah. All right. Let's see. Now we have a little bit of time left to trade. We have 8 minutes left to trade. We're positive right now. I don't want to mess that up, but we have 2 trades. We're only 50%. We had 1 stop out, 1 not stop out. Overall, we're positive. We could have a trade coming up here on the NQ. We just need an up close there on the NQ. And we did not get it on the NQ, so cancel that order. Could have something coming up on gold. The NQ just flipped the YBR, so that would give us a short here in a few minutes, maybe. Maybe. Okay. We need the up close. I mean, we need to get up and hit the midpoint with a down close. The ES did not finish the cycle here, so that's not going to be a trade on the ES. The YM could give us a trade, right? So far on the YM in this session, we've had the 1 stop out. The gold could also give us a trade. It's going to hit the midpoint, close up, hit the midpoint, and then close back down. It'll be flat if it does that. It'll have a flat spot if it does that. This is going to go through the whole cycle again here. All right. Not today, Bart. I'm not going to be able to do that today. I have the normal stuff that I do on Wednesday. I have today. I didn't do it yesterday because I had a doctor's appointment to go to. And you should, we just need a down close over there on gold. You should, Bart, just be able to go here and go to the trade rules page and click on this right here. You should be able to do that, or click on this one. Either one of those. Click on this one would be fine for you, I think. Click on that and copy it. Hit the copy button in the upper right hand corner. That should get you going for TradingView. I never shut any of your stuff off or anything like that. So it should all be working in there.
Copy it, give it a name.
Yep, it'll prompt you for a new name. Just give it the new name.
I typically just use date. Like say copy 12/11/20. That way by glancing at it, I know when I copied that chart from the master chart.
Yes.
How long it's been. Just an idea.
Yep. And then you will have it. That's all you need to do, Bar. Everything is all set for you. I redid the machine ID for Ninja Trader for you. So all that stuff is working again. You didn't tell me that wasn't working. I guess you were going to tell me that tonight in the partners meeting, right? Isn't that what you said? Well, glad we took care of that. All right. So this is not a trade here on gold because it wasn't flat before and didn't come out of the overbought. The NQ's got a trade. My stop actually just went to +4 ticks. And it just took me out with +4 ticks. That was right here. The ES does not have a trade because it didn't finish the cycle. The YM just needs an up close to have a trade there. It doesn't look like it's going to get it. That's not going to be a trade on the YM now. Gold needs an up close followed by a down close. Okay, let me go put it in that NQ trade. 4 on that. Makes this a 3. Right? It's a little bit better percentage wise. Need an up close followed by a down close on the gold. We just need an up close on the Y. Well, actually, the YM 24. No, YM's not going to be a trade. It's going to miss it by a tick. The NQ just flipped YBR again. It could give us a short trade here. It's getting kind of jammed up in here. I'll spread it out so you can see a little better, but it's getting kind of jammed up in there right now. All right. We got to get into the overbought here on the NQ to get a short. Right. We did get all the way down to the oversold, so we just need to get back up into the overbought. The gold needs to get into the overbought to give us a short there. We're not there yet on the NQ, so we need an up close followed by a down close. The ES didn't finish the cycle on the way up, so it doesn't have a trader. There's the up close followed by the down close. We need the down close now on the NQ. And it's got to be right here too. Well, gap down. It wasn't actually there, but a gap down and it just bumped my stop. And I believe I had 8 ticks on that. It wasn't in exactly the right place, but I had the order waiting. So here I'll put this on. I'll give it a different color blue though, because it hadn't hit the midpoint. The gold actually gave a trade there that I didn't see. I could still take the gold trade because it hasn't gone enough into profit to bump the stop. So I just took the gold trade right here. Okay. And let me go and update all this stuff. This window is always on top. Okay, go here and I'll slide the gold off to the side. We'll probably stop out on that gold. We haven't yet, but the NQ we just picked up 8 more ticks. It's at 12. and a 4. Okay. And here's the gold. All right. The gold has not gone enough to get the stop to break even. It is struggling right here to move down. It looks like it kind of wants to move up, not down, but we'll see. Now we just closed down below the midpoint, so that's a good development for the short trade. What time is it? 1:29. So hopefully it's going to push down enough to get the stop to break even because we're running out of time. It's getting there. There it goes, break even plus a tick. All right, so we'll hold on that. We're gonna lock in 5 on that. We're out with 5 on the gold. The NQ is about to trigger another one too. Okay, so that was 5 more on the gold. That puts us at 15 there, and 5 trades. And the NQ just triggered another one too. The gold is about to trigger another one. The NQ, if I had the order waiting there, it would have given me 4 ticks on that. I didn't have it waiting, but it would have gone to break even plus 4 ticks.
I think gold is going to try to flip the YBR.
Yep, I think it is too. I think the NQ wants to actually flip it here too. All right, well, that is it. I have run out of time. If you haven't taken a free trial, go here to mytradingIQ.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for that trial. Just click on the purple button and go to the registration page and fill it out. Okay, make sure you give us a view login so we can get your indicators indicating for you on your desktop. Right, so in this session, we ended up with 5 trades with 1 stop out. So 80% of the trades were break even or better. I don't think we had any break even trades. We did have the 1 stop out on the YM. 2 trades there and 2 trades there. Right, so we ended up with plus 1,350 with 10 contracts or plus 135 with 1 contract. So enough to get the goal for the day. I'll put down the number of minutes I actually have in here to trade. Maybe I'll make that a new column. Minutes traded. Because in this session, I think I had 14 minutes. All right. So far, doing all these sessions, this becomes a 13 now. Doing all these sessions, we're averaging $102.50 in these sessions. We've done 13 of them that I've kept track of. And with 1 contract, we're up $1,025 over those 13 sessions, and 10 contracts, $13,325. That's not the right number. This should be, this equals this divided by 10. Oh, I just screwed that all up. Control Z on all that. So this equals this divided by 10. There. Okay, $1,332.50 with 1 contract. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. There was a reason I did that. It's because 2 of these days I didn't have information on those 2 days.
I know there was one day you didn't place any trade.
Yeah, that was yesterday. We didn't place any trades yesterday.
Oh, yep. Well then that makes 2 days that you.
Okay. Well, I know if you do this divided by 10, it should be $1,332 with 1 contract. And this number is right. That's the sum of those numbers right there. So that's all good. All right. So we're averaging $133.25 per contract is what it comes out to. I'm pretty sure that this should be. Well, let's just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that is 13 days. That's all good. Yeah, it's all good. Everything looks good. All right. Well, that is it. With that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona in Studio A overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne is ready.
I am. And I got to run, guys. So recap of the session.
Today it took 8 minutes and 3 trades to get to $1,300 with 10 contracts, 130 with 1.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I got to run. Normally, we do a day right here, but just any part of today's broadcast. As I sign off, go to youtube.com/CFRN. Today's broadcast in its entirety. See all of you tonight. See you members tonight in the members only workshop. If you've been on the trial, be in the workshop tonight. What you got to do to become a member, salary support at CFR. Oh, you want to become, she'll get you signed up so that you can be in 8 p.m. Eastern. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wherever you are, God continually bless you. Mercy, grace. See you.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.